Hello everyone, this is NC Lord, and today I'm doing a update on one of my previous tutorial videos. Today we're going to be showing how to play Duelist of the Roses style. This is strictly for people who are familiar with the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, the standard rules, and want to play Duelist of the Roses. Anyways, what you first would do, depending on who's going first, we're just gonna, for the sake, assume I'm going first, you draw the same amount of cards you normally would. Now, of course, the deck leader, the most important part, can move in any of the four directions. Up, right, left, and down, like this. Or like this. Or like this. There's not another space backwards, so we can't move backwards. However, most of the time you will want to make this your first move. And then you can normal summon and activate as many applicable cards as possible. For example, I normal summon Gamma, the Magnet Warrior. Now, as for continuous cards that are spells and traps, this rule is up in the air, but I still tend to play by the rule where activated cards can move once per turn as well. So for example, I'd set this here, then I'd activate it, send it switch. The grid zones are considered to be both spell and trap and monster card zones, as you can read what send and switch says here. So adjacent would mean any of the surrounding zones. So I could actually, through send and switch, make an artificial move here, then through Magnet Warrior's own move forward. Or use send and switch to move myself here and then just simply move forward. I could also activate any cards that are activated that search or draw are basically always the same. But cards like this that would summon, that don't leave the field, that only summon one, would actually summon on top of the monster would end up on the grid zone this card was activated on. Now let's draw until I get a card that is more applicable for further examples. Call the Haunted. Now in cases like cards like Call the Haunted, say for example it's my turn, I set it, move it here, and I had something in my grave, we're just going to put this in the grave. I could summon it anywhere adjacent to the Call the Haunted. A similar rule applies to monsters that summon other monsters. It's like this card is actually summoning the monster itself. That's how you have to see it. It's like a mini deck leader. A similar ruling, now say I had all three of the Magnet Warriors. I'm just gonna kind of cheat a little and bring them out. Now, in rulings like Valkyrion, the monsters do not have to actually be connected, just anywhere they are on the field. They get tributed like so, from wherever they are, and I can actually summon in any of the previous locations they were. I could summon here, here, or even here. And when I do, that monster gets its own movement. Similarly, Synchros and XCs would have to be connected in either that way or a similar way I showed you. They can be connected like this, or like this, or in any which way you can imagine. Fusions, because they're summoned by cards that usually leave the field or stay on the field, unless they use Fusion Gate, which would make them default around deck leader. Pendulums, by the way, default around deck leader. You summoned any unoccupied zones around the actual deck leader. And cards like this, when they're activated, they go to the grave as normal, and then you, draw one card. Now, attacking. If you attack by moving during the battle phase. And if you move into your opponent's deck leader, that is, for all intents and purposes, considered a direct attack on them. You go by the rules of whatever format primarily. As for tribute summoning, I'll get to that in a second, but when you attack your opponent directly, you have to usually move on to them. Unless, say for example, Valkyrion somehow could attack directly. If it had not moved from the spot normally, like not counting Sentence Switch of course, and then I used it to attack directly, as long as it hadn't moved from that spot on its own move, like a non-hostile move or a move during the battle phase, then it can attack the opponent directly, but it must be in the same line of sight as the opponent's monster. Similarly, monsters that can attack other monsters, or monsters all at once, could sort of remotely attack the monsters. Damage calculation and all that normal jazz is applied as you would expect. Basically, all normal rules apply to this game. Contact Fuse works similar to how Valkyrion was summoned, although they need to be connected because it's Contact Fusion. And yeah, these are the rules, the differences between them. Remember, all rules apply, but movement is the key thing to Duelist of the Roses style. You know, your monsters can only move once per turn, your deck leader can only move once per turn. But we do not count when a new monster is summoned. When a new monster is summoned, it gets its own move. So say, for example, I activate Mass Change second or something near my opponent's deck leader, and then I summon a monster during the battle phase, I could still attack. See, the phases were important to implement in order to make sure people didn't abuse the fast mechanics of modern DOR. I appreciate everyone for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. This has been NC Lord. Thank you for watching.